Well guys, we got a new story about Spider-Man 4, and I have to say, this is exactly why we're moving away from scoopers and leakers on this channel, because this is so stereotypical of how they present these things, and honestly, it almost makes me mad. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about the report, why it seems like it's all bunk, and the fact that it totally looks like to me, they're playing with fans' emotions. Let's dive in. Now before we do that though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently, so you are really in the know. Well guys, today we enter a new campaign, a kind of anti-scooping leak position that we started a couple weeks ago and we're going to continue to lean into. I firmly believe that a lot of leaks and so-called scoops are exhausting fans, and they are now actually doing damage to the things that we all love and cherish. Now, there's been a scoop going around about Spider-Man 4, and I have to tell you guys, this is literally the perfect example of people being fed nonsense or half-truths intent to just keep their name and create sort of a false sense of relevance. Now, we're not about throwing shade at individuals, so we're not pointing fingers, but I see this coming from multiple sources. And I have to say, as a two-part scoop, well, the first part is duh, and the second part is going to be forgettable because you already know the first part is coming true. So let's dive into what the whole breakdown is. Now, what this scoop is claiming is that two major Marvel characters will be part of Spider-Man 4. And those two characters will be Daredevil and Antman. So let's break this into two parts and start with Daredevil. This is really where it starts to spread a little thin, because Kevin Feige actually told us this already. Now, he didn't specify he was going to be part of Spider-Man 4, but he did tell us that the future of Marvel is going to involve street-level heroes, and those street-level heroes will be led by Daredevil and Spider-Man. Clearly, they're going to set up New York City and the street heroes with the upcoming Daredevil series. And the pairing of the two characters already happened in the previous film, so it was something that most people had already assumed. This is pretty classic of a lot of these scoops and something that is so frustrating. The first half of this two-part story involves something that we already know or have speculated for months is already true. We've been talking about Daredevil being part of this series or even Spider-Man showing up in Daredevil, well, since their announcement. So this is anything but a scoop or anything but news. It's just the same regurgitated things we've heard over and over again, just put into a new box and given a little bit of a side dish so that when the side dish doesn't come true, but the first part does, that we already know about, it doesn't seem like it's a big fail. Now, the second part of the scoop involved Antman, and obviously, this should make no sense to anybody. First and foremost, Scott Lang doesn't even operate out of New York in the MCU. He operates out of San Francisco, and that's been consistent through the whole franchise. Also, the last movie, quite honestly, failed miserably, and he was left fully entangled in Kang's story moving forward, and quite honestly, it was unclear if he was even on our Earth, with one of the main theories being when he returned, he went to a different reality, leaving him in a weird place and not easily to connect with Spider-Man. Now, this movie is so early in production, there's no way to know any of these facts as of right now. When they're in the story development phase, well, anything can happen. And I'm sure character names are thrown around in meetings, and maybe people are hearing something about these meetings, but when you look at the last trail of scoops that were attached to several other films, most of the truth came out very late in production, not early on. And it seems like this is once again one of those situations where people, scoopers, who are trying to make money on you, are basically regurgitating things like the Daredevil story, adding a little side dish of Antman, claiming it to be a new scoop, and then selling it to people, when, in reality, nobody really knows, but if Daredevil does turn out to be in the film, like Kevin Feige kind of indicated, they're going to run a victory lap and act like it was some big prediction. Now, we're going to keep following scoops and trying to break them down here at least a couple of times a week. I actually think fans are being full-on deceived by many of these people who actually make money making up these stories. There's lots of Patreon accounts and memberships and a lot of that other kind of nonsense, and honestly, that to me shows a real lack of respect for you, the fan, and the industry in general, because I truly believe all of these fake stories and scoops set expectations all over the place, and they're never able to meet them because it's always been a fictional version of the upcoming story. Nothing is more powerful than somebody's imagination, and that's exactly what they're playing on, hoping to keep you on the line. We're going to try to break it down for you straight here. This is going to be the first edition of this of many, and if you want to know the truth and stop listening to fake nonsense from those who are looking to monetize your fandom, well, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because we're going to keep doing it.